Glyphosate is the active chemical ingredient, the declared active chemical ingredient in Roundup. The manufacturers have declared that only glyphosate, that one chemical, is the active ingredient in Roundup and Rodeo and 750 other herbicides and pesticides. There are other ingredients in Roundup which are extremely toxic. In fact, when combined together, they make Roundup 1,000 times more toxic. And that is not acknowledged by the EPA, it is not tested, and there is actually no final formulation testing of Roundup or Rodeo or Touchdown, all of these 750 different other chemicals. There's no long-term safety animal testing of those chemicals to show that it is safe. So for them to say that these chemicals are safe is completely fraudulent. In addition, there are plenty of studies showing that glyphosate itself, all by itself, is harmful. Now, this was not believed to be the fact 40 years ago when they started using it. I don't know if you did this, but I remember when my dad asked us to pull the weeds in the water in the pond. We had a small pond back in Connecticut. I said, Dad, you just use Roundup. We had no idea then that it was harmful because the manufacturers told us it was safe. So it's now used not only in waterways, but on sidewalks, streets, parks, and it's sprayed on our food. Up to 160 foods by the EPA are allowed to have glyphosate residues on our foods. So we are not only consuming this toxic chemical, but we are being exposed to it throughout our neighborhoods and our farms and our streets and our sidewalks and our parks and schools and churches. In fact, in Orange County, 265,000 pounds of herbicides and glyphosate are used per year. This is data from, I believe, 2012 or 2013. Glyphosate, the history of it is that glyphosate was found to be a pipe cleaner. So that means that it was cleaning out the pipes, taking out the lime and the chemical residues on the inside of the pipes. It functions as a chelator, and that means it holds or makes unavailable the vital nutrients of any living thing it touches, right? It grabs on to those minerals and vitamins and makes them unavailable to the body. Dr. Don Huber, a 50-year plant pathology, has described it essentially gives the plant AIDS because it holds or makes unavailable the vitamins and minerals in that plant, weakening its immune system, and then the bacteria in the soil then can kill the plant. So it's not glyphosate alone, right? And it's not the other inerts or the other ingredients that are also very, very toxic. But it's the normally harmless bacteria in the soil that kills the plant. So you can imagine, by weakening the plant's immune system, what it might do to humans or animals if it comes in contact with them as well. It also functions as an antibiotic, meaning it destroys the beneficial gut bacteria, and it has been proven to increase the pathogenic gut bacteria. When you have an increase of pathogenic gut bacteria, signals the gut to tell the brain to go on attack. And the microglia cells in the brain create something called glutamate, which is actually a neurotoxin. It's a cytotoxin, which ends up becoming a neurotoxin. So all of a sudden you have brain cells which are dying, and you have symptoms that look like autism symptoms, Alzheimer's, dementia. Oh, one other aspect of it being an antibiotic is that when you destroy the gut bacteria, that's the place where tryptophan and serotonin and melatonin and guarin are made. And those are essential hormones for the functioning of our body. Tryptophan, without tryptophan, your body cannot make serotonin. And serotonin is what regulates insulin. What happens without insulin? Diabetes, right? And we have since had a 4-fold increase of diabetes just in the past 10 years in teens, just in teenagers alone. So when you destroy the gut bacteria, you disrupt the body's ability to make these essential hormones that balance mental illness, bipolar, acts of violence. And in America today, we now have 1 out of 5 Americans with mental illness. And we have dementia, early onset dementia is happening in when they're 40 and 50 years old. We of course have a huge increase of autism. The way it's going right now is that if we continue at the current rate, in 16 years, by the year 2032, 1 out of 2 of the children born will be diagnosed with autism. We simply cannot allow this. This will destroy America. What kind of education system will we have? What kind of military will we have? What kind of healthcare system will we have? It will completely destroy America. So We need to stop and reverse this trend, right? Which means not introducing toxins into our children's environment and food so that we're protecting their gut and we're protecting their immune system and we're protecting the gut-brain connection.
Okay, now playgrounds is one of the areas that gets really high attention when it comes to landscape management. Typical place